You've seen it 1,000 times. You're looking at two different charts. On both of them, you see the exact same setup. Maybe it's a bull flag. Maybe it's a head and shoulders. Maybe it's a perfect retest of a previous high. To the naked eye, and to every trading bot on the planet, those two setups are identical. You take both of them. One explodes for a massive gain, the other stops you out in 3 minutes. And you're left sitting there staring at the screen asking, what did I miss? What you missed wasn't on the chart. It wasn't an indicator that didn't fire or a candle that didn't close quite right. What you missed was the story. See, a lot of traders get stuck in what I call the pattern trap. They spend months, even years, memorizing shapes. They treat the market like a geometry class. If A happens, then B must follow. But the market isn't a math equation. It's a narrative. It's a constant, unfolding story about who is in control, who is trapped, and where the most pain is going to be felt. The setup is just the what. The story is the why. And if you don't understand the why, the what will lie to you over and over again. I remember early in my career, I was obsessed with the perfect entry. I wanted that one specific candle pattern that worked every time. I'd find it, I'd take it, and I'd be baffled when it failed. I'd go back and look at the chart and think, but it looked perfect. The RSI was right, the volume was there. Why did it fail? It took me years to realize that a bull flag in the middle of an exhausted, overextended rally is a completely different animal than a bull flag breaking out of a 3-hour consolidation range. One is a sign of continuation. The other is a sign of a bull trap before a reversal. The lines on the screen were the same, but the story behind those lines was the polar opposite. To trade the story, you have to stop looking at the setup as an isolated event and start looking at where it lives. Where did the price come from? Has the market been grinding higher for 6 hours without a break? If so, the next buy signal is likely the market looking for exit liquidity. Are we at the edge of a major daily level that hasn't been touched in a month? If so, a small 5-minute pattern doesn't mean much against that kind of historical weight. You have to ask yourself, who is losing money right now? The best trades happen when the story is about pressure. If the market has been trying to break a level for 2 hours and it finally does, every person who was shorting that level is now in a state of panic. That's a story. That's a narrative of forced buying. When you see a setup form in that environment, it has the wind at its back. But if you see that same setup form in a quiet, low-volume afternoon when nobody is trapped and nobody is panicking, it's just noise. It's a shape without a soul. I trade crude oil futures, and in that market, the story is everything. It's about the session opens, the inventory numbers, and the psychological levels that everyone is watching. If I see a breakout on the 1-minute chart, I don't just click buy. I look at the hourly. I look at where we are in the day. I ask, is this the market actually moving, or is this just a shakeout before the real move? When you start trading the story instead of just the setup, your win rate doesn't just go up. Your confidence does. You stop feeling like you're gambling on shapes and start feeling like you're reading the room. You can see the trap before it snaps. You can feel the momentum before the candle even closes. The setup is the map, but the story is the terrain. You can have a perfect map, but if you don't know there's a cliff right in front of you because you aren't looking at the actual ground, the map won't save you. So, next time you see your perfect setup, take a breath. Look left. Look at the higher time frames. Ask yourself what the narrative of the day is. If the setup matches the story, take the trade. If the setup is fighting the story, stay out. The market will always have another shape for you to look at, but it only rewards the people who take the time to listen to what it's actually saying.